Yo, what is up, Karma Nation? We are back at it again for a nice hungover Saturday morning pod. I know Ethan had a nice productive night last night drinking, so he's not doing too well. I'm over here on the struggle bus too, but we are here to bring you another podcast and to break down today's WNBA slate for DraftKings, FanDuel, and of course, monkeyknifefight.online and prizepicks.online, promo code KARMA. So, Ethan, how was your night last night?
My night was awesome except for Tarasi. Again, she screwed me over, and we talked about it on the pod. Tarasi or Diggins, which one goes over? And the first night it was Tarasi, not Diggins. Last night it was Diggins, not Tarasi. I just cannot get those guards right to save my life right now.
Yeah.
So,
Was,
still profited on Prize Picks last night. We did great on Monkey Knife Fight, except for that 2 for 2 because Tarasi didn't go over. But we said on the podcast, if Meeseman plays, Hines Allen's going under, Hawkins is going under, and that's exactly what we saw happen. We just hoped that the game would stay closer. Tarasi would play a little bit more, and she almost went over. She just sat the last 3 minutes of the blowout, so that
yeah.
hurt.
Yeah.
But overall, it was a good night, profitable night. So, I see some juicy stuff on Prize Picks already. Monkey Knife Fight probably has some juicy stuff too. So it's going to be a good day. We have WNBA, we have NBA, we have Major League Baseball, NASCAR, golf, you name it, we have it. NHL, we got to give a shout to NHL. So lots of sports today, lots of props. Let's get after it.
Oh yeah, I'm excited for today. Last night I had a pretty good day too. Took down a couple small GPPs for
You did.
$700 last night on DraftKings. I stacked the late game. I had Collier and then just completely stacked Phoenix with Taurasi, Skylar Diggins, Vaughn, and Turner, and then I had Leslie to run it back and scored 199 points. So
Impressive. And you finally got Diggins right after she screwed you a couple nights
finally
ago.
got Diggins right. We said we're deciding between Atkins and Diggins back and forth, and we said we were gonna get it right, and of course we got it right.
Well, you wanted Atkins. I took Diggins on that rapid fire.
Yeah, but then I decided I'll go Diggins in fantasy, and it paid off. I think.
We'll say we got a little lucky because Hartley went out with the injury. So, those guards had to play a little bit more than probably what they would have, a little bit more usage their way. So, but still, come on, Trossi. You got to go over 35. Damn it.
Yeah, that sucked. I had a lot of money on that 2 for 2, and then I had the 6 for 6. We got the 6 for 6 completely right, except for Tarasi. So Tarasi
Yeah.
screwed us out of a lot of money last night. So,
Yeah.
but
Bummer.
another day, another dollar. Let's make it back today.
Mhm.
So let's see here. Let's break down some injury news for us today. We usually had a lot, because different teams play on different days. So we got the teams without much injury news today. We got Sue Bird. She's still out. So there's some value at guard for Seattle, and the game should stay a little closer now without Sue Bird. It seems like without Bird, they aren't able to win as easily, and especially against Chicago. Should be back and forth game. Not much defense played for Chicago, so there could be a lot of value in Seattle. We also have Stevens and the Shields. They're probably not playing, nothing official yet, but it looks like Stevens was in a walking boot a couple days, or walking on crutches a couple days ago, and the Shield's been dealing with that knee inflammation and hurt herself last game, so she'll probably be taken off today. And then we got Tiffany Mitchell. She'll be back today. She's probable. That'll ruin some of that Kennedy Burke Doyle value, but they weren't really paying it off after that first game anyway. So glad to have Tiffany Mitchell back. I'll probably play her tonight. She's decently cheap at 8-2, so I'll probably try to fit her in my lineup. But today, looks like it's a forward day to pay up for sure. But as always, we'll start out with guards. Who is your favorite guard play today?
All right. So we're going to kind of do this a little different. Like you said, it's a great day to pay up for forward. So I'm paying up for forward. So with that being said, for cash, it is nearly impossible to pay up at forward and pay for Vandersloot and Enrique. But for GPP, I do like Enrique tonight. Enrique's been on fire lately. Vandersloot, she's playing well, and she can go off at any time, but 10-7, and possibly Chicago could get blown out by Seattle. I'm just not paying 10-7 for Flute today. So if I'm paying up, Enrique is my favorite pay up, especially she gets a ton of usage. I know Sabala's back, but Enrique's just been on fire lately. My favorite play is probably Copper 8,900. You said it earlier. No Stevens, probably. No DeShields, probably. These girls are playing 35, 36 minutes a night right now. They're getting the minutes, they're getting the usage. It's Seattle. That game, either Seattle's blowing out Chicago or the game's staying close. There's no way Chicago's blowing out Seattle. So I like Copper 8,900 as a cash play for me.
Yeah. I don't know if I can pay up 8-9 for Copper. I mean, the game should stay close, and I think everyone on Chicago is a little too expensive for this matchup. But they can definitely, for cash at least. Seattle's just so good defensively. I don't know if I see myself paying up for any of those Chicago guards. But I'm definitely having Brianna Stewart, so
Yeah.
it's tough. I want to run it back, but I think Stewart can drop 40 without any of these Chicago players hitting value. So it's definitely something I'm gonna have to ponder for a little while. But we will see. So we're gonna have to try to find some value here, because if we're gonna pay up for both Aja and Brianna Stewart, you're only left with 6-5 left for salary remaining. So we got some players like Sammy Whitcomb. She destroyed Chicago last time they played. Not looking at not game log watching. She's just gonna get some more minutes just because Bird's out. She hasn't been playing that much, which worries me. She's been getting 15 to 20 minutes. But she's definitely an efficient scorer, and Seattle just doesn't play defense. She's not gonna get those same. I think she had like, how many blocks and steals she have? She had 6 blocks and steals last time they played and dropped 43 fantasy points. Obviously, that's not gonna happen again. But she's definitely still a good play to get you 15. Just those cheap girls don't need to really hit value as long as those studs are playing enough and scoring enough to make up for 15 points out of Whitcomb. If Brianna Stewart only gets 30, Whitcomb getting you 15 isn't gonna be good. So you're really banking on those girls, those high priced girls, paying off at least 40 points today, especially Brianna Stewart, who's 12-5. I definitely want at least 40 points from her. I don't mind the fade in GPPs. She might break the slate, but I mean, GPPs, you have to beat everybody, so you need to be in the top like 1%. So I don't mind fading Stewart, especially at that price. She has to hit 40, which that's her prop. I think some props have her at 42. But she'll definitely have an amazing game tonight, so I'm just going to try to fit those two in. So you want to look for some more cheap players. Not much is standing out at guard, super cheap. I'm not going to play Clarendon. She's cheap enough. We don't have Burke value today. Caleb McBride's a great GPP play. She's been doing much better so far those last couple games, so maybe she's turning it around. Definitely helps the Vegas win streak. If McBride's playing well, the only issue is if McBride's playing this well, this game's probably going to be a blowout. So
Yeah.
But she has great steal upside in this matchup. She's not a big steals person, but she can get you that ceiling, definitely. She only had one last game out. They played each other last time. It was early in the season, so people are still trusting McBride at the high price tag, and she got you 7.5. So hopefully we see some bias, and her ownership is next to nothing, especially if you're in those big tournament, high-priced tournaments. She's probably going to be, you're probably the only one with her today, unless I have someone watching this podcast. In those high-dollar tournaments, I don't know. But yeah, McBride, Jackie Young, and Robinson are all worth, they're all like basically the same price. They're all worth a GPP shot today. Probably won't have any of those in cash. But you can go players like Whitcomb, Canada, all good value. Jasmine Jones, pretty good value. And then you got Mabry, if she was doubtful last game and somehow started. She's 7.5. Not the worst value in the world. I'm having trouble figuring out the slate so far. just
It's
because
a toughie.
I want to fit in Stewart and Wilson. I might not be able to, but I'm just gonna try to hammer it as much as possible. Maybe go for some cheap forwards. So if you get Wickham in there, you have 6-8 left, average remaining salary. So if you can get some value, we'll touch on forwards in a second here. So if you can get some value
Yeah.
at forward, then you can definitely fit those two. But if you can't figure out that value at forward, then you might have to fade Brianna Stewart and just go with because they're probably going to score the same amount of points. It's going to be very close. So if you're going to fade one, might as well fade Stewart just because of the price tag. But it's still a
I wouldn't.
tough choice. Yeah,
I would not.
I know. We'll
Well, I
see.
mean, we'll touch forwards in a minute. You want to touch on forwards now?
Yeah, might as well touch on forwards, see what we got. So we got those two, obviously, best plays on the slate. And then we got a couple more $9,000 salary. We got Wnba, Sabali, and McCautry. So DK loves to just price people up after an amazing game. They'll go from 7,000 to 9-10,000 if they drop 50 fantasy points. So Wnba dropped 57, and now she goes from 8K to 9.6. Decent play. I'm probably not gonna go her for big. In New York, I might go for a different big, maybe Stokes. But I don't see myself paying that much for Wnba. Sabali also dropped 50, so she went from 7.7 to 9.4. So, and McCautry had some foul trouble last game. Screwed me out of some money. Only played 16 minutes, so she should play a little more as long as it's not blowout. So, which of those 9K players would you try to play in GPPs?
Oh, DPPs. I gotta go Sabali. I love Sabali. She's looked really good since she's been back, and she should be playing over 30 minutes now. I think she played 27, 28 last game.
Yep.
Yeah, 27 minutes last game. First game back, 21. So, looking at she should be playing between 30 and 35 minutes. But I just love her block upside, her scoring, her rebound. She just does it all. She fills the stat sheet. So I love her for GPP. But, Stewart, Wilson, I'm jamming those two in everywhere. Those are my top two plays I'm putting in just because I think both have 50-point upside tonight.
Yeah, and they're going to have all those 9K players are going to have no ownership just because the ownership's going to be on Stewie and Wilson. No one's going to have... You can't even fit those two in cash with Stewart and Wilson. So they're going to be low on GPP. Great GPP pivots today. New York sometimes just keeps the game close. Like, they just beat Chicago. So if this game stays close, you can really game stack this game for a lot of value. Still, if it's a game stack, I'm still not playing Wnba. 9.6, she has to have 30 to 35 for me in a GPP. GPP, she really needs 35 for me, and I don't see her getting 35 today. Even in a close game, that's like a top 5% ceiling if she's getting 35 plus. So I'm still going to fade her in a game stack. I'm looking... Are you going to play Natasha Howard today?
Hell no.
Hell
never.
No. There we go.
Might take an under on props big time today, but I will never play Natasha Howard in DFS. Not enough minutes.
I hate it. Like, she gets decent minutes, but it's just like, I can't trust her. She's screwed me out of some money because she's had a good last 5-6 games. She's been getting over 30, but still, like, 3 steals, 2 blocks, 2 steals, 3 blocks, 2 steals. Like, how much can you rely on that?
You can't predict blocks and steals, so there's no point in playing her.
Yeah. Yep. Chicago's... What's up?
You playing any Chicago forwards today? Dolson, Parker?
I hate playing forwards against Seattle. I hate playing anybody against Seattle. I faded Asia against Seattle the other day, and she completely screwed me. I had Wilson in that matchup, but I went firm in fading Asia, and she dropped 47, which kind of screwed me, but... I can't play forwards against Seattle. If we had Stevens, I'd play Stevens today, but not at 9.8, but if she was a little cheaper. Gabby Williams can spread the floor, but she probably won't start today. I don't mind Dolson.
Natalie Akonwa.
No.
No, I butchered that. I believe she started last game at 7,100 Indiana versus Dallas.
Yeah, she's a good play today. You called her last game and she dropped
Yeah,
27 for us. Good call there, and she was 6-2 still, so definitely amazing call there.
yeah.
But yeah, I don't mind her. I don't think she's gonna get 5 assists a game again, but she'll definitely
No,
great scoring games. Dallas gets siphons points inside, really siphons points everywhere. So she's a
yeah.
great play today. I love Clark today against Chicago. I never really play her, but I love her today, especially with no Bird. She'll have to score as well. She'll have a little more usage. She can get those rebounds. It's gonna be a high paced game. And you can fit Clark and Cash, I believe.
You can.
Yeah.
So what I'm looking at, I just did a quick build. I plugged in Aja Wilson, Stewart, Canada, Whitcomb. Those are the four, and that leaves you with 6,400 a player left. And I know there's a cheap forward you like down, so I'm not going to touch on her yet because I know you will. But that should leave you, after you put in that cheap forward that you like, leave you about 7,700 left.
Yeah, I plugged in that cheap forward. I think we're talking about the same person. I got 8-3. So that means you can plug in Mitchell if you want. This is just a first look cash, so this is probably not what I'm gonna play, but I might throw this in GPP. I love Lauren Cox today.
That's cheap forward.
Yeah, she's 4-7. Playing in the mid-teens minutes. She's a tough play today. No one will play. I doubt we see a lot of ownership on her. Definitely a decent play. She's been stepping up. She's a good rookie. She's a high pick rookie, so she's supposed to be doing well, and she's starting to get in her own now. So I don't mind her at all today. I also don't mind touching back on the mid price. We have Natalie Akonwa, but we also have Kia Stokes right next to it. She's more of an interior scorer than Zowie B. Not a huge scorer, but Vegas loves to give up points close to the basket, and Zowie B is probably going to try to spread the floor. Maybe take. I doubt we see a lot of swords today, so I might take Aja away from the basket and give Kia Stokes a little more leeway today. So we gotta see. I'll see where my build lands me between maybe Clark and Stokes, Clark, Dolcing, Nachanwa, Stokes. So I'll see how my build goes. I'll probably play the highest remaining salary player left of those four as one of my mid-price forwards. So we'll see. Because if you get Lauren Cox, you can end up paying for a high price guard. So if Cox can get you 15 to 20, Sammy Wickens can get you 15 to 20. Brianna Stewart and Aja Wilson break the slate like they're projected to. That's a good core there. And then you can really work with whatever at 7-8-5 remaining salary. You can do a lot. You can pay up for another forward and pay down for a guard. You can pay up for a guard, go down a forward, or just pay some $7,000 to $8,000 players and go from there. So there's a lot you can work with from that core. That's probably the core I'm gonna run. I'm definitely gonna run Whitcomb, Brianna Stewart, and Wilson. So I'm not sure if I'm gonna run Cox, but it just opens up so much. I'll definitely have her in my main GPP line. But
Yeah, I mean,
gotta
if you're
decide.
plugging in Stewart and Wilson, you have to play someone cheap. And the
Yeah.
value at forward's better than the value at guard. So
Yep. So we'll see where we go from there. Nothing really else I like cheap.
nope.
Yeah. Mercedes Russell's kind of out of the rotation now, so there's no reason to play her. She hasn't been getting really big minutes. Yeah. Actually, Odom's not a bad play today. She's been starting. She didn't get that many minutes last game, but she was getting the mid-20s, high 20s. So if she gets back to those high 20s minutes, she's a great GPP play today as well. Just not a good cash play. And then Ruthie Hebard, she's a decent GPP play if you're trying to get really fancy to fit those. Because you can really make this core. I know, I don't. Does DraftKings still have that big $10 Let's see here.
I don't know. That's a good question.
I haven't been playing it. They have a $5. It looks like, yeah. So if you're playing that $5 first to 1,000, how many entries can you get into it?
Probably 20 or so.
I can't see. It's 35. So if you want to run a core of Wickham, Aja, and Brianna Stewart, and then put that as like 25 to 30 of your lineups, and you can really get weird with that remaining salary and play people like Ruthie. So we'll see where I'm going. I don't really max out those tournaments, so I'll leave that up to you guys to do that if you want to run that core and that. But yeah, you can get it weird again today. I haven't fully figured out the slate yet, but there's some good directions to go. Even Candace Dupree here at 7-9. I didn't touch on her, but she's always a wild card and she's always scoring a ton of points. She gets those ceiling games. She plays a good amount of minutes. So if her shot's on today, she can have a big game at 7-9. Another great GPP play. I just don't trust her floor to play her in cash, but decent GPP play. McCautry and Hamby. I didn't touch on Hamby because I don't really like playing her, but her ceiling's always just as high as Angel McCautry.
She went off that game.
Yeah, so maybe see some more ownership just because recency bias and a good. She's got that opponent rank of 9 right next to her name, so we could see
She
a
plays
little.
blowouts too, right?
What'd you say?
Does she play blowouts too? I think so.
Yeah, she'll play some blowout minutes. I don't remember. I usually turn off the game by then, so I'll just double check. But I think she plays blowouts.
Yeah, she comes off the bench.
Yeah, usually those bench players play blowouts, but she's a good blow. She's a great bench player, so she might win 6th Girl of the Year, 6th Woman of the Year. We'll see. Yeah, I was expecting her to start this year, but McCautry got the start. But they're both really good. I'm waiting for them to start the maybe that's playoff time. Put Angel at the 3, Hamby at the 4, and Aja at the 5, and just run that 90% of the game and have that as the starting lineup. But Hamby, they run that lineup a lot. Sword starts, but she just doesn't play that many minutes. So Hamby doesn't always need the blowout to do anything because she'll get a lot of run anyway. But yeah, great matchup for her. It's New York. They suck.
And they turn over the ball a lot.
And they turn over the ball a lot, so that raises you can't really predict blocks and steals for individual players, but you know the team's going to get blocks and steals. You know the player guarding that player is going to get blocks and steals. But you get all those interceptions from the bigs down low. Undisciplined basketball gets those bigs a lot of steals, so you could see a decent amount of steals from her and then get those. But too many steals will lead to a blowout for sure.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. Clareton, like touching back on guard, you can play Clareton, but she's a huge risk just because if she has a good game, the game won't blow out. And she's cheap enough where you can play her, but you might end up with 6, 7, 8, 9 turnovers. So it's definitely a risk. She's been a little better lately, but still, once those she started the season just averaging 6 or 7 turnovers a game, so we'll see what happens there. Nurse, I probably won't play her just because she's too scoring dependent on one of those Vegas, New York game stacks. But if I'm doing that game stack for New York, I'm probably looking at Clarendon and Stokes most likely to run it back with some Vegas players. But that's one of my favorite GPP game stacks. But you can really game stack any of these games because there's 3 games, so just get creative like normal, like I say, and have some fun. It's WNBA. It's a fun league.
You want to touch on prize picks now?
Of course, we can touch on prize picks. Let's see what we got here.
So there's 2 plays I love on prize picks. I'm not gonna touch on you gotta be in our Discord to get this, but there is one player on here that I'm just gonna pound the under on and drop a ton of money on her under. So prize picks, if you're watching, we're coming for you today.
I also touch on prize picks gave out a free free play for $25.
Joey didn't use it.
I didn't use it, but I got our subs a free $25. So if you paid for the $9.99, you had a free play for $25. So you just made back that money 2.5 weeks worth of WNBA, which is basically till the end of the season. So we basically gave away free packages yesterday if you paid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So-
for Discord.
So Prospects probably won't give out another one of those, but
So then.
yeah. So
But so let's look at the board. So we
Let's
have
take a
4
look.
players from New York, 4 from the Aces.
yep. This is a game I'm probably gonna avoid for props. I mean, I'll probably play Aja Wilson over just. So you can really, interesting strategy. Instead of playing DFS, where you hammer Aja Wilson and Brianna Stewart, expecting 40 fantasy points, just play 2 for 2 here with both them over. Because you're
Yeah.
expecting to hit value, you want over 40. So, and you make, it's 3x now. So now you make 3x, which is even better
Yep.
than a double up. So, if you need them to hit 40 value, that's why prop sites are great. You just come over here, pound the overs on both, and you're good to go. But that's
No,
Age is probably the only one I'm touching from this game.
yeah, lots of turnovers, and like I said, I hate predicting blocks and steals. So any under in that game just doesn't feel comfortable doing, especially on the Aces side. So probably Wilson over, but there's some other stuff I like better. So
Yeah, we can move to the next game then. Brianna Stewart obviously over.
Yep.
We got a couple of. This is going to be a good game, so I hate pounding the unders on great games. But who do you like any unders in this game?
yeah, there's a couple. Like I said, I don't want to go too in depth about this game because there is one on here that I just love the under on. But I will say this: Seattle blew out the sky last time out.
Yeah, I
And
don't
it was
think
not
Super
pretty.
did Super play. I don't think Super even played that
No,
game.
Super did not play. So if you've watched the last couple games of Seattle, Brianna Stewart is having to score a lot of points. Lloyd has been really bad the last 2 games. She can't score. Her shooting's just off right
Yeah.
now. So Stewart's been having to do everything lately. I think that continues. The Sky do not have an answer for Stewart, inside or outside.
Yeah, they don't
Those
play
4
defense.
Yeah, they don't play defense. So I don't see how the Sky keep it close. I could be wrong, but I would not be shocked if Stewart goes off for 40 real points tonight.
Yeah,
I would not be.
if she plays the whole game, she will definitely score over 30 points, unless someone's shooting hot like Whitcomb. If her three's
Yeah.
on, Brianna Stewart doesn't have to do much, but that's something you can't really put into account just because that's a ceiling. So, 60 to 70% of the time, Brianna Stewart's gonna have to get that 25-point double. Her usage
Yeah.
rate is high. She can see some assists. Definitely could see some. So I remember watching this game when Vandersloot was off the floor. They couldn't run their offense at all against Seattle.
Yeah. That's the same thing that we're seeing.
Yes. So if Vandersloot, because the Shields is out, so we could see Vandersloot really play 35 minutes just to keep this game close. I know when Quigley was
But-
running that offense, they just couldn't do anything.
But all eyes are going to be on Sloot in this game. They know Sloot's the best player. You take Sloot, and I'm sure they know. Take Sloot away, and this team crumbles. So
Yeah, she only shot 4 times that game too. Like she just got completely shut down. She only played 26 minutes, which was their second least amount in the season. And they have Canada starting, so we'll see some good defense from Canada on her. I believe I assume they'll put
one-
Canada on her.
one thing I want to touch on Stewart real quick, going back there. Her last 2 games that Bird's been out on, 29 real points, 27 real points. Her fantasy points, 62 and 55. So just kind of goes back to what we were saying. She's having to score a lot of points. She's having to do everything without
Yeah.
Bird there.
And one important factor is no blowouts.
Yeah. I mean, if this game blows out, then probably everybody's going under.
Yeah.
So- But let's hope for not a blowout until at least the last 3 minutes of the game.
Yeah, because blowouts are tough for those 42. Like, you can still hit your 26. Lowy can still easily go over in a blowout. I had a 6 for 6 in one of the games, I had all unders on, and Lloyd went over by .2, and I put
Yeah.
$50 on it, and I was so pissed. But yeah, those smaller price players can still go over, but someone like 42, if they're only playing 3 quarters, 3.5 quarters,
We're
sometimes it
not going
just
over.
yeah, you need a lot of minutes to get to that 42 points. So
You want to touch on the last game now?
we will touch on the last game, and we got Sabali there. Nice. Sometimes
Yeah.
I just don't have her.
So guard situation. You have Kelsey Mitchell. You have Julie. Tiffany Mitchell's back. If I'm betting man, which I am,
Of course.
one of those two probably going under.
Yeah, and
Which
I would
one would you
say
want?
Kelsey.
You think Kelsey goes under? I'm right there with you.
Yeah, that's my guess, Kelsey. Kelsey can still put up 20 real points, but she's less likely to score as much. I mean, they score
Yeah.
together. Both Mitchells can score together, but it's just less likely. It's not impossible, but it's just less likely.
And I don't touch Candace Dupree. Ever since last year, she's been so hit or miss, and I don't try to guess if she's going to be hitting or if she's going to be missing. So that's just an automatic fade for me in general there.
Yeah, some of these GPP type players you just don't play in props because you need to. It doesn't matter if if they have they're extremely volatile. You play them in GPPs, but you just don't touch them in prop games. Which I don't think I've really played a Dupree prop, maybe once or twice. But yeah, I can't play.
And
Dupree.
one thing I'll say, and we won't post props until closer to lock, obviously.
Yeah.
But once the first game locks in an hour and a half, they should add a fourth player for each of these last two games. So be on the lookout for that.
Yeah, I will say I don't mind Gray under with Sabali back.
Yeah.
Arike kind of like under as well with Sabali back, just because she just doesn't need to score as much.
Go off anytime.
And she can go off at any time, which makes me avoid her prop, which sucks. But I mean, there's other props. Just don't force things. That's why we're profitable. We don't force things. Obviously,
Exactly.
if I had to play everything, I'd play under on Arike, under on Gray, under on Kelsey Mitchell, but under on Dupree. But I don't have to, so I won't.
Yep.
Yeah.
But some people will.
Some people will, and that's how these prop sites stay profitable.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. So we gotta rush this out today, just because lock's coming up. So
Yep.
we will end it there. Any final thoughts?
My final thoughts is, on a serious note, guys, WNBA. They play some great games. I love watching these games. Support the women. Tune in, support the women. The first NBA game, I believe, is the Magic and the Bucks. That's going to be a major blowout. Enjoy this Seattle-Chicago game. It should stay close. It's two of the better teams. Just tune in, give them some viewership, help grow the league. That's kind of my final thoughts there. I'm going to tune into the game. I'm going to watch WNBA over NBA, at least early on, because my Rockets don't play till later. But really enjoy the game. So.
Yeah, we got a whole day of basketball. You watch WNBA all the way up to the Thunder Houston game.
Rocket.
It sucks sucks Dame's not there, so the Portland game's going to probably be a blowout. But
yeah, Houston game should be really fun to watch.
Houston, especially with Russ back, should be a fun game.
Yep.
Yep.
But outside of that, Joey, I got nothing. End it.
All right, we will see you tomorrow, I guess.
Yep.
Hopefully, we probably won't be hungover again tomorrow, so we can get this out a little earlier. I was struggling to get out of bed, but tomorrow we will get this out a little earlier for you guys and get us to 200 views. We got to 145 yesterday. I asked for 100, and we got to 145, so let's see what happens today. Let's break at least 150. Let's get up. But we only have an hour, probably hour and a half, so I'm not expecting 200, but get us to 150.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
All right. See you tomorrow.
Yeah.